Here we go, episode 77 uploaded and coming at you here as we get closer to Preakness weekend. We've got the Black-Eyed Susan Day on Friday and then Preakness on Saturday. So today what we're going to do is jump into our full card plays for Black-Eyed Susan Day. And I also want to share with you my approach, my philosophy, and how I think it can help you. Okay, so first off, we're doing this today. I want to give you a chance to look at what I've put together for the pick five and the double and the win wagers and see if you agree, see if you want to play along, you want to follow, or you want to fade, right? Also gives us a chance to come back on Friday morning, early Friday morning, and if there are any changes, right, scratches that affect our ticket, anything like that, we can address that and still make our plays, right? Want to make sure that we adhere to our philosophy. If you can see there on the bottom of the list for the things that we're talking about today, our total investment is $100. That's my whole thing. There's zero reason to use a lot of horses. Either you can handicap or you cannot. Here's my point. What I learned in 25 years at TVG and FanDuel is that a lot of people like to do what I say, buy the pick five. I don't want to buy the pick five. I want to hit the pick five. So listen to me. If you're actually putting out tickets or picks and you're trying to help the public and get them to follow your ticket, why would you put out a $100 ticket? People aren't going to follow that. But if you put out a $48 ticket, they might at least look at it, right? So in my opinion, if you're on social media and you're putting out your $150 ticket, you're not asking me to follow and bet with you. You're just asking me to root for you. And I'm not going to do that. Good luck in your pick. But if you're playing a $150, $200 pick five ticket and you hit, you don't need my support. Or anyone's for that matter, right? Winning is enough. But I digress. What I'm trying to say is I'm trying to be of service. Either you like it or you don't. I'm good either way, all right? So let's get into what we want to do. What we talked about here is we're going to give you the full Friday Black-Eyed Susan Day card, the plays that I'm going to put out, and I'm going to stay in my budget. It's $100 or less. Let's go. All right, so we're going to play the pick five. We're going to wait until the back half of the card. One, because I want to wait for the weather to improve and the track conditions to improve. I'm not really sure what we're going to get to start the card on Friday, but I feel really confident that by the time we get to races 8 and beyond, the track will be in good shape. Turf, of course, will still be, yielding. It'll still have some give, but I believe that the main track will be good by that point. Let's start in race number 9, the Hilltop, going a mile on the turf course, 3-year-old fillies. There's enough speed in here, and there's one particular filly that I think is going to absolutely love it, and that's the 8, Obasante, for Todd Pletcher and my man, John Velasquez. She debuted going 5 furlongs over the turf at Gulfstream Park. Field of 11, she ran 5th, not bad. But then they stretched her out the next time out. In a field of 10, she went a mile on the turf at Gulfstream, and she was perfect. It was beautiful. And I believe she'll get the same setup, if not a better setup. There's probably more speed in this race than she had in front of her in that maiden breaking score. The 8, Obasante, is who I like in the 9th. The Hilltop, I keep it simple, a single, and I keep it pushing. Because we're going to need some coverage for at least 2 of the races, right? Race 10, that's the Miss Preakness. Now we're going with this grade 3 event, 6 furlongs, good size field of runners. The 5 is where we start. That's Family. For Safi Joseph, Speed, Consistent, and Irad Ortiz. They will be out there. The 6, Stunner, also Speed, Consistent, with Flavian Pratt. For Brad Cox, she will be out there. So I have enough of a setup. Now, how do I pick up the pieces? Well, we go to the 10, Mila Rose. Morning line 10-1, Jose Ortiz. She's a consistent closer on the synthetic at Turfway Park to break the maiden, and then again over the main track at Keeneland. And I think she's in the right spot, and she'll get a nice setup. We'll see if she is good enough for Steve Asmussen to get it done in this race. And then, the 12, I really like. It's the California shipper, Vodka with a Twist. And her last, 6 races have been in Southern California against top-notch competition, and she's been right there in the mix. She's now second off the layoff, She gets Mike Smith in the irons. There's enough speed to set it up. I think the 10 and 12 are very live, but I go 5, 6, 10, and 12 in the second leg. That's race 10, the Miss Preakness. All right, moving on. Race number 11, the Very One. 5 furlongs on the turf course. Another situation where I think it's going to set up for one particular runner. Hey, there's some speed in here, and I don't think they're going to move this race. I only really like 2 horses, and I think one of them is going to be enough. The 9, Loon Cry for Christophe Clement. Flavien Prat comes off the layoff, but the good thing about her is she always runs well fresh. She's fresh here. She'll get a nice setup, and if she's good enough, we're golden. She's going to get bet, so she's not a win wager candidate for us, but she is a solid single candidate for our plays. Then we move on. Race 12 is the Pimlico Special. Mile and 3/16, right? 3-year-olds and upwards in this race here. Oh, really, really talented field of runners. We've got a lot of speed signed on. And unless we get a bunch of scratches, which could happen, we should have a horse in the right spot. The 2 in here, 20-1 morning line, Catalea Strike. This is a closer who is consistent. He passes horses all the time. The only question is he good enough to pass this caliber of horse in this field? And I think absolutely with the right setup. Provided we don't get a bunch of scratches, the 2 at 20-1 in race 12 is live, live, live. All right, so then we go to the 8. Star of Wonder. Star of Wonder will be in a nice spot, has a nice closing kick, is consistent, and there's that team again, Flavien Prat for Brad Cox with the 4-year-old son of Uncle Mo. And I think this distance, while it's a new distance, I think it's going to be one that he can handle. Been a mile and a 16th twice. I think a mile and 3/16 is definitely well within his realm. And then the 10, San Siro to the outside, an outstanding closer. We like 2 really nice closers and 1 horse that'll be rating. San Siro gets Luis Saez. And I think also, after going a mile and an 1/8, and then last time went a mile and 3/16 in the Ben Ali, the grade 3 at Keeneland, right there in the mix. But it's 15-1 in this race here. I'm like, what? No way. I love the 10 in here. So that's how we put that together. Our coverage, 3 horses, 2, 8, and 10. Then we get to the 13th race, the final race, a mile and an 1/8 in the Black-Eyed Susan. We've already talked about this. We love Liam in the dust to the inside. Like the way that she ran on the sloppy track last time out. It won't be sloppy, but there'll be a little bit of moisture there. She's going to be good no matter what. And then, Kenzie Queen. The 5 is a really consistent closer. This is a big test for her, but I think she's going in the right direction. I think she's good enough, and I think she'll have a decent setup. So 1 and 5. I'm afraid of the 6, but I don't want to use the 6. The 6 in there is Paris Lily, and she's fast, no doubt. But I just don't think she's good enough to carry them all the way around, so I'm not going to use her. So let's do our math, right? You single the first leg, you go 4 deep in the second. Single again, then you go 3 deep in the fourth leg. 4 times 3 is 12. Then you go 2 deep in the last leg. 12 times 2 is 24. 24 times 2 is 48. That's the play. $2. Why $2? Because with 50 cents, and I'm using the 8 and the 9 as singles, they will be short prices. So at a 50-cent play, basically I'm saying I would have to add value in the other races, and I don't think I need to, nor do I want to. This is how I see it, so you want to maximize, and I never go over $50 on a pick 5. Never. Shouldn't have to, right? All right, so that's how that goes with the pick 5 play. So from that play, you then decide, okay, do I have win wager candidates with my key horses? Key horses meaning in races where you've either singled or you only have 2 horses and you really like a horse. Because if you're going 5 deep, but you really like the 8 horse and you bet that horse to win, why were you using the other 4? Like, think about that for a second. If that's your top pick, what do you need the other 4 horses for? Anyway, so that's our question. Here's the answer, right? We will decide. We'll place a win wager on Obasante in race number 9. That's the first leg of that pick 5. 5-2 morning line. I really don't think that they're going to be shorter than that. I really don't. So I'll put 15 to win on that runner. That's how we get that started, right? Then we want to decide, okay, as we're getting into this, episode 77, are there other places that we either want to have win wagers or do we go straight into our double? Well, we do have another win wager because that's going to come in the Black Eyed Susan. And while we do think Liam in the Dust is very live, we really like Kinsey Queen to run them all down. And there's no clear-cut like monster in the race. There's no clear-cut favorite. It's a great betting race, so she might stay there at 10-1. She might come down to 8-1, but I think that's about as short as it'll be, and I'll take that. I'll take that all day long in this situation, right? So that's how we do that. Then we go recap. Remember our double that we're playing? The Junior Johnny double, right? So that's 2 horses that we'll need in one leg. 1 horse we'll need in the Preakness. That's a $10 double. $20 is the total investment for that. I'm loving that. So let's recap everything that we're doing, our total budget and our plays, right? Take a look. 15 to win on Obasante. Your $2 pick 5 is $48. 15 to win on Kinsey Queen. Your $10 Black Eyed Susan Preakness double is $20. Do the math. That's $98 investment. You've got $2 extra. Look at you, walking around with money in your pocket. And when we're done, hopefully, it's a win-win situation, right? Hopefully we were hitting some of these tickets because all we need to do is hit just one and we're going to be good to go. As far as our win wagers, that'll make our money back, or the pick 5 makes our money back. And then we've only lost $98. That's it. And then we'll still have some money to come back with on Saturday if you want to go bigger. And we might go a little bit depending upon what's happening with the weather and the track conditions. So, there it is. I feel really good about it. I like it. I hope you do too. And if you don't, I'm cool with that. It's all good. Play whatever you want to play. I'm going to play this. I'm going to do me. That's what I came here to do. I came here to not have to worry about whether I'm going to offend some connections. I came here to not have to worry about whether I have to deal with explaining this to a partner on the air or a co-anchor. I don't have to worry about people taking shots at me just because of the position that I have. Here, you have to seek me out. And then when you find me, it's really all I'm doing is being me and playing my plays. And it's so much fun. But the number one thing is I want to be able to say, hey, I'm not playing that jockey. And not have to worry about my boss calling me in to say, hey, the jockey agent's mad. He said about their jockey. Hey, their jockey sucks. You ever think about that? Sorry. If I can't trust you, then I'm not going to play you, right? So that's what we're talking about. It's going to be so much fun. Let's keep it moving. All right, that's going to do it for episode 77. In the meantime, in between time, and until next time, I'm Ken Rudulph here on Horse Race Bets. We will see you again early Friday morning. If we need to make any changes to our plays, or if something maybe materialized overnight that we didn't see here, which is possible, right? Always possible. Then we'll get back to it then. Until then, good luck and enjoy whatever you're into today.